And we are here again, almost twice in 1 week, with My Hero Academia episode number 7, I believe. Well, not Anime4All podcast, episode 7, I believe. This episode is called Those Who Will Inherit, and that's the name of the episode that we are reviewing, as the music is playing. Right before we get started with this, it's a really important episode. This a monumental episode. This episode that will change our lives forever. Froppy, I mean, what?
Yeah, for a filler episode, this is incredible.
But before we get started, we are as usual, we are doing decently well. We're getting a download every day when episodes are up, which is this is good. I'm actually very shocked at the progress this is having as just a people are listening to us, and apparently a lot of people are listening to us on PC. I haven't seen a download yet on anything else that would make me think that they were listening to us on a phone or whatever. But
Oh man, if you're hoping for PC, there is nothing politically correct about us.
nothing politically correct about you. Moving on. um, we are on your usual Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. We are now on Stitcher. I don't know what Stitcher truly does for us, but we're there now, so we should be available for you guys to watch if you wanted to, well, not watch, listen to us ramble about things like anime and whether Saiyan boobs are get bigger when they turn Super Saiyan. Which, by the way, I'm gonna bring up that in case a lot of people are confused why this is season 2. Season 1 is only available on my YouTube channel. Unfortunately, there are too many episodes for me to go through right this moment to get downloaded and turned to an MP3 to upload. Eventually, I will get around to doing that, so that way everything will be in one concise package. I also am thinking about moving those Dragon Ball Super reviews over into the podcast as well, and there'll probably be a special feature like Dragon Ball Super. And depending on how many episodes those are, those might happen first, mainly because I know next year we're really excited for the new Dragon Ball Super movie. Whenever we get more information about that, we will talk about that too once we do get more information. But we probably won't know anything until the end of the year.
Do you have a plan for Dragon King?
Huh?
Do you have a plan for Dragon King?
Dragon Prince?
Dragon Prince, I'm sorry.
No, it's no problem. There's like a lot of things that we have to plot out now. Well, not now, later. Dragon Prince, whenever they announce when they're coming back, I will be more on I'll be more on the plan for that. I think, unfortunately, because we're doing two things at once, and I want to keep it that way because I don't think we can handle more. Unless you want to review three things at once. I don't think that'd be good for us in the long stream of things, but it'd be something you could probably talk about. But I think, and my hope is that if they do announce they're coming back this year and near the end of the year, I hope that My Hero season 5 would have ended by that point. More so that we could plot that out, and that way we're not wondering when we're gonna start doing that particular show. But yeah, also seasons 1 through 3 of those episodes that of Dragon Prince, if you want to listen to those, they're available right now only on my YouTube channel because, like I said before, there are too many episodes for season 1 of the podcast for me to go through and download and then convert to MP4 and MP3. But those will happen once I get an opportunity. Maybe if there's like a large break in between, podcasts, like maybe a couple of months, I would then probably go through the process of downloading them all. But then I'll also take the time to go and convert them to MP3 because I can't upload them to RSS, unfortunately, in MP3 form, MP4 form. It's very annoying. But I guess with that and enough rambling, with that rambling side, we are now here for the My Hero Academia episode that just released this Saturday. I believe it's called Those Who Will Inherit, and I'm gonna just for I already knew about this. This is like the last thing I knew of before you, Jock. After that, there's nothing more that I know that you don't. Now there's some things that get spoiled thanks to Google. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Google. That because they watch what you click on or whatever. You know your activity. Some things have popped up, but I'm hoping I'll have forgotten about them by the time we get to those points in the anime, whenever they show up. But I want to get your gut reaction towards the evolution of One for All. I've been really wanting to talk about this forever, and I'm glad we're here now to talk about it. So many things about what happened to Deku's ability that is just amazing, but I want to hear your gut reaction.
My gut reaction is I've been wondering how they're going to wrap this story up without it having feeling like it has a million loose ends. I've talked to you about that before. I'm like, how are they going to just stop the story? Like it's got so much more to tell, and all these plot arcs and stuff like that. But I think it's cool that they found this way to like start wrapping up the series, because now what they're telling us now is like this is really the story that we told you we had in the beginning of the development of All for One. I mean, One for All, and how it's developed and how Deku, and how Deku becomes the greatest hero of all time. And like when I heard that at first, I was like, all right, whatever, bullshit. You know what I mean? Like the next person that gets All Might's just going to be stronger anyway. This doesn't make any sense. Like it was a weird promise, and like I always had kind of a raised eyebrow about it. And here I am, like, oh, well, he's the destined culmination of One for All, and you see that with All Might's All Might's predecessor. What was her name?
Reiko?
The one that reminds me of Ren from Trigun.
I think her name was Reiko.
So let's say it's Reiko. They mentioned in the beginning that she had a dream that Gran Torino's talking about, where she's met one of the manifestations of One for All, and they told her that it wasn't time yet. And then you know that if at all Might's interaction with those manifestations has been very limited. It's
Nana Shimura.
Yeah, Nana. So you know that All Might's interaction with those phantoms has been very limited. So what we have here is basically like kind of a Deku like fulfilling the purpose of the quirk, like bringing it to its culmination. And when that guy was talking to him, it seemed like he was kind of explaining, he's like, my spirit is fading. So I wondered if that was kind of that guy's final moments. He gives the quirk to him, and it almost looks like he kind of like possibly fades out of existence after that. That was like the last vestiges of himself being given away as he faded out, so that Deku could inherit it. But I thought that was really interesting. I'm like, oh, so like this is why he's the greatest of all time, because this categorically, like by the nature of this quirk, gets more powerful each time, and now it's reached its pinnacle. And it's all in Deku. Like Deku's the one that's going to be the manifestation of its pinnacle. So that was like super cool to me. The other thing that made me wonder is why they're bringing All for One into this right now. All for One's just kind of sitting back and biding his time, and you see he's much more powerful, much more capable in his cell than he's letting on, and the people that are holding him aren't so confident they can continue to do so. But he seems to be... That was another thing that had struck me on in previous series, that he seemed to be totally fine with being captured and kidnapped and biding his time. And he's been talking so much about picking up a successor. And here we have like Deku like being the holder of the quirk in a very vulnerable time because he's still learning how to use it. And now the quirk is blowing up even more out of control than it was for him. Like he's barely able to like grasp control of the quirk in its current condition, and now it's going to be multiplied by many times over. Like its functionality, if not its scale, And I want to know what One for All is chilling out and thinking about that. Like, because like I said, he's just kind of kicking back, thinking about like how he's got this protege that's going to figure things out and take care of them now. And I'm really curious to see if he knew that this is what was going to be destined to happen as well, and that if he knew that Deku was kind of the chosen one and he's waiting to take advantage of that, but he's like biding his time right now, and why not where he is good as anywhere else because it forces his protege to develop on his own without a master for a while.
I mean, I see where you're going, but I don't really see Deku. Like, I feel like Deku just happens to be the vestures that's just gonna make everything work all at once. Because we don't know why none of the previous users talked to All Might. I think All Might said he's never met any of them. Nana's met one of them, but she couldn't figure out who it was because it was a black shadow. I don't know. I
Yeah,
feel
but
like
that Black Shadow
I
seems
think
to.
Deku just seems to be the one that because everything I guess they couldn't power anything up any further. And plus, I want to also bring up too. I know you're convinced that All Might had a quirk, but the numbers that were stated by that gentleman, that guy with the whip quirk, black whip, in the thing, he he mentions that they were that let's see, Deku's the ninth, so like there were 8 users, but only 7 quirks. So that right there lets you know that somebody doesn't have a quirk, and I'm pretty sure it's All Might.
The original user of One for All didn't have a quirk.
No, he had one. It was discovered late after the fact.
He had the quirk that Deku currently
No,
is
no,
already.
the brother though, he had a quirk. It had
The ability to
combined.
pass
It had
the ability to
combined.
pass on right. But Deku's already gotten that quirk because he has the ability to pass on his quirk too. That was that became a package deal with All Might, so Deku already has that one, so he can't get anything else from the original.
No, but the numbers still don't add up because All Might has to be the one that's because like All Might's already stated he didn't have a quirk. He even told Nana that as well. I highly doubt that All Might is lying still.
Unless he was unaware of it.
That doesn't make any sense still. Because All
I
Might
don't
ain't
know.
dead. I mean, All Might's will is not inside the quirk because we don't see him in the lineup.
I'm saying the math doesn't add up for the same reason that you are, except that he doesn't have anything to gain. You overlook the fact that the original holder of One for All um, didn't have anything to give him, so he couldn't have given him something.
I don't think he has to give him anything really. All the power that he gotten was just that he's able to collect energy. I mean, that's essentially
All the
what the
carriers,
original quirk is.
all the carriers of One for All have are going to come and give him something -1. The one makes perfect sense if it's the original because Deku already has everything from him. That's all I'm saying. If you can prove that maybe it's all of them but 2, then I'll re-listen to your debate. But if with the current numbers, he already has everything from one of them, so it wouldn't make sense for
One,
that one.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Deku's the ninth.
Okay.
He said 7. Wait, did he say 7 or did he say 6?
I thought he said 6, but I don't know. I also thought at one point that they showed 2 different numbers over the course of the episode. I forgot when I rewatched it to look for that.
Say what now?
I thought that there was a plot inconsistency where they mentioned 2 different numbers at 2 different points. But it might have been like, I don't know. I might have been my misunderstanding of the reading or something.
One for All has become extremely strong. Listen, kid. I mean, you'll have 6 more quirks manifesting in you, in your heart. Who's to say that Deku's manifested the collecting energy thing? Like so far, all we know is he has super strength. Unless that super strength is him collecting energy and releasing it at once, which would make sense. But
Does the original count as one of the people?
probably not. Well, according to this user list, he is counted as one.
Okay. Then yeah, it's got All Might has to have a quirk by that math.
He doesn't have a quirk.
I know, but by that math, that's either a plot hole or it's incorrect because by that math, All Might has a quirk.
Deku got one. He got the black lip. He's already manifested that one. He says there's 6 more. All Might can't give him a quirk because he's not dead. I mean, if he had one, if he didn't know it, those guys are dead. Well, their wills inside the quirk. I'm pretty sure they're dead though.
Oh, this is pulling hairs.
After
Maybe
going through 8 people.
listen, this is splitting hairs, maybe, but did All Might say that he didn't have a quirk at the time that he received it, or because it could have been a quirk that
Yeah, he said he was
he
quirkless. He was
right. So
quirkless.
but I wonder if that's like a little bit of a play on words, and if we were to like, it'll be revealed later that after he got his One for All that he had a latent quirk like the original did, where they didn't think they had a quirk until they got a quirk. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's the same. Like, I mean, Flame Words you use for Deku. Like, he was quirkless until he got One for All, but like he was quirkless before he got the quirk. Because with the
The original
conversation he had with Nana, I mean, the conversation he had with Nana before, she had asked him, "Why do you want to be a hero?" Like even like a quirkless. Even Nana knew that he didn't have a quirk before she passed it on to him.
right. So the general belief at that time was that he didn't have a quirk, and it may have been true or it may not have. But the original receiver of One for All didn't think that he had a quirk at the time, and then it was revealed that he did have a quirk, but it was a quirk that was useless without another quirk, which was the ability to pass quirks on. And then those two became the same quirk because they merged powers and stuff. But the idea is, if that's true, then it's possible that somebody else had a quirk that they didn't realize existed until they had another quirk because maybe it wasn't relevant unless you had an additional quirk. We know that quirks that aren't relevant until you have an additional quirk exist in this universe, so it's possible that a plot twist that's coming up later with All Might is that we find out he had one as well. Or it's a plot hole, but it's a weird plot hole to have that specific number mentioned when they know perfectly well what's going on there. And to say it twice in the episode.
I mean, this is also Japanese translation to English, maybe. One,
I mean,
two,
numbers
three,
aren't
four,
ambiguous, though.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Deku's 9. Uh, All Might's 8.
If this is
Nana's
a
7.
translation issue, though, if this is a translation issue, then I would say that the
No, because if we're going with
translation issue is more likely to be centered around the specific language of All Might and his quirk, and not the exact number
maybe
of
this will
other
solve
people
the
that are going to
issue,
be.
or maybe not. I don't know, or maybe make it confusing. Okay, there are 9. Well, technically 10 because Bakugo got the quirk as well. They list him here as a user of the but he only had it in the movie. Which actually
Okay.
a friend told me. He actually explained something to me that I guess was more of a manga spoiler about like what happened. All I'm gonna say is that movie actually does make sense, and I think it is canon. Unfortunately, I didn't believe it was, but I think that movie was canon. There's something that they explained that he explained to me later, but so so there are 9 users. This is including Deku. He's the 9th one. Toshinori is 8. He said there's 6 left that he has to learn. Removing All Might, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 people he has to manifest a quirk from. I mean, actually, he only has to manifest 6. He's already manifested 1. So he's already manifested like one of the 7 that he has to manifest. There's no way you can include All Might in that. And if the math is off, the human to say you've already manifested, whoever this first guy is. Unless the first guy actually let me go back to the image real quick. There's actually a really weird image. There are 2 people in that image that we don't know who they look like, and they're like in a blue and red aura. And they've never been revealed at all since the time that Deku's been through this Avatar state.
There's people that are blue. What?
There are people still in shadow in the stack, but the original guy, the brother of One for All, you can't you can see him, but you can't see the two below him unless they're number 2 and number 3.
Don't you think that's just kind of like we're making this fun for the animators, so just to tease it? Like, do you really think that that's like?
Well, I gotta count them first to make sure there's like 7 or whatever the number is. Maybe the brother isn't counted amongst them. I mean, he was said to be frail. I don't know how even if it was quirk he could have done much.
Right.
All he did was stand up to his brother. He didn't do much. I wish I could find out. Like, there's an image. I remember. It may not be this episode either. That image is shown. But you see
Probably.
the people. You see the people of the One for All tree. I guess I was looking for that. They also bring up the fact that one reason like Deku manifested the Black Whip anyway was because he was thinking capture, and his quirk just happened to be perfect for that. Which is really cool. I mean, like Deku, all he needs to do is think what he needs to do, and there's a possibility he might get a power up from it. He's like, going through 8 people is what he says. It's gotten stronger, but he says you have 6 more to manifest.
I'm
They
looking
have
at.
to know that. They also have to know the person that was before Deku didn't have a quirk, because they would have counted him. That means there would have been 7 he needs to manifest. I don't think I'm picking hairs here.
Yeah, I see 8 in the pictures I'm looking up right now. I'll send you one on Discord. You're making a lot of this, but I don't think you've really done anything to disprove my point yet.
What I don't understand how you can count All Might in that number. I don't understand how you can count him in there because I don't know why you still are convinced that he has a quirk. He hasn't done anything to suggest he would have one. There hasn't been one thing. He's been out of the picture forever. I don't know why he would abandon being a hero if he could still be one. I don't even know why he would need to be. I don't know why he would need One for All just to even do hero work. Because there are people
Because
out there whose quirks aren't that useful, but they're still made them useful. It
because
shouldn't matter.
8 minus 1 is 7. That's why. Like, 8 minus 1 is 7, and All Might's going to have to be one of them.
No, but you're not counting the whole picture. I say like
Okay, well,
there are 9. Deku's number 9. He says
right.
that there's 6. There are like okay, we go down. What's first? Deku's number 9.
Okay.
All Might's number 8.
Okay.
He manifested 1. He says that there are 7 in total of the quirks in this black hole that apparently is the power of All for One. There's
What
7
about
he needs to manifest. He's already manifested 1. He's down to 6.
No, he's manifested 2.
Who's to say that he manifested the first one? Who really knows? I don't think they even because I actually was it the gathering? Yeah, it was
He's
a
gonna
gathering
have.
quirk that he was given to him. They said
He's
that he
gonna
had a
have.
quirk, but they don't know what happened or what his quirk was. But he had one.
Yeah, he had the ability to pass on quirks. He's already had a scene in the anime where he met with the original person. Now he's met, and he's not going to have another one. He's met with another one of the originals. So that's it. Like, he's met 2 of them. There are 6 left. Right? He's met the original, and he's met the guy with the whip.
Yeah, I don't think that still doesn't prove that he has a quirk. Like I'm positive he doesn't have one. This is not me knowing. I'm just saying I'm positive that he doesn't have a quirk because they keep on berating I mean, it maybe I just don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It would be, it would they'd be rehashing a plot point. Is this
Really,
they'd be rehashing a plot point?
really, the most compelling argument you can give me that none of those are All Might is that if you look at the picture of the shadows, the ones that you can't see, neither of them look like All Might at all. That's like the
Well, I
best
kept on saying
argument.
what I kept on saying is like he's not dead yet. He can't be in the manifesto. There's no way he could give Deku anything if he had one.
That's not their soul, though. That's like an after effect.
No, that's their souls. That is literally their souls. He
It's
literally
an
said his
imprint.
their will was in there.
Yes,
That,
their will, but not their soul. Like it's like an imprint of them.
but why isn't All Might in there? That's the other thing. He would have had an imprint if these are imprints of them. All Might should be in there, but he's not.
He could be in there.
Every image that we've seen, and those last two in the background do not look like All Might. They don't look skinny or even muscular for that matter. They look normal.
No, it would have to be the. Well, first of All Might in his normal form is pretty skinny, but the purple one doesn't look like him to me. It would have to be the red one somehow. And then the fiery orange one doesn't look like him to me. Like, I mean, that's not him at all, I think. So it would have to be, although orange or yellow or fire, that seems more like his style. Because if you look at the hair close enough, it looks sort of like maybe it's his hair.
This second image I'm counting, I literally counted 8, and the first one wasn't in there. Like the one with the white hair is not in that image. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Who's the one with the white hair?
The first one, the guy in the first image, the guy with the creepy eye. Like that white hair dude is not in the second image. And I literally counted 8. I counted twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm afraid to like Google this any more than I am. I don't want to spoil anything for myself.
No, I'm saying, based on this image you've shown me, I literally counted 8.
Look at this still I'm sending you right now from the anime. There was someone with eyes like you too, All Might.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. I mean, I get you saying. I remember this moment because that was the season 2, and we didn't know what the heck it was. And I don't know if that was the animators taking creative liberties or something.
That's a big creative liberty.
Animators have done that for years, man. Why do you think animators are getting to the point now where you stop animating when they're either caught up with the manga or like it's just they're trying to respect the original content nowadays.
Yeah.
Before they didn't care. But
We'll see. I don't want to look at it anymore because I don't want to spoil it for me. But I'm thinking that I at least have a point.
I'm just taking a second image, and that white-haired character, the first guy. Wait, who's that guy in the green down there? Okay, I might have disproving your point there. I still don't think he has a quirk, because that'd be rehashing a plot point. And I don't think they would do that. They would rehash a plot point, saying that somebody who had it. And unfortunately, all this thinking is now making me think of something my friend told me about this particular thing, and I don't want to say anymore. But
Okay.
something that he told me specifically that I didn't go out of my way to find because he was just talking with me, and we were talking on one. It has something to do with the quirk. But based on what I'm seeing right here, it doesn't make any sense because All Might isn't amongst this thing, and I feel like Deku has to manifest the quirks from this group of people. You can make an argument that maybe the red guy behind there is Deku, but it doesn't make much sense why Deku can't see him or what he looks like, or even an outer outline. Considering how much closer he is to All Might than Nana, he can see Nana here really really clearly amongst all the other people that he can really see. There is no glow over her or anything. She's not even off colored. He can see her really, and he shouldn't be able. If depending on how close you are to the previous user, he shouldn't be able to see her this well compared to the other guys.
Mm-hmm. I think we have a lot to learn about it.
I still don't believe he has a quirk. That is like where I'm saying I am hard pressed saying he doesn't have a quirk because it doesn't make any sense.
You're gonna need to give me.
It doesn't make any sense.
You're gonna have to give me an alternative. Either the original person doesn't count in this list, That's the best alternative I can think of. There's not a good alternative to my explanation.
Maybe
If
the
you don't agree,
translation is
then
off. I mean, yeah, that's why, like I said, the translation might be off, but it is because I'm counting it. For me, it makes sense. There are 9 users in all. Deku counts as the ninth one. He says he's got to get manifest 6 more. I understand you're cutting out the first guy, but they're only saying he's only manifested one. Is what he's saying. The one of the users, he's only manifested one, and he would know because he's inside the quirk.
okay.
That's basically what I'm saying. He would know.
You're still not explaining it though. What is this? What is the answer here? Everybody. The answer is that he's still going to get a quirk from the original user.
I mean, he probably won't. I mean, like I had to agree that he is already, he's already using the quirk to store energy to shoot it out. But he's saying he's only manifested, like he's only like you had to count out All Might too in this situation too. Because I believe All Might doesn't have a quirk, and I believe
So where does
there's no quirk hidden inside All Might that's to be discovered. I don't think All
so
Might
where
is
does
going
the
to
extra
be a
quirk
plot
come
point
from
later
then?
on.
Where's the extra quirk going to come from? Bakugo?
You see here, 1 quirk, 2 quirk, 3 quirk, 4 quirk, 5 quirk, 6 quirk, 7. I mean, I've already clicked on Toshinori on his website, and it says he's quirkless. It's not really a spoiler because we already knew that. It
So
actually
where does
said,
the extra quirk come from? Is it an error in the episode, or is the quirk coming from Bakugo, or what? Because I would piss Bakugo off if he got his Bakugo's quirk.
was it without spoiling much anything? From what I can tell, he's on his list, but he's only on there briefly. He doesn't seem to be on there. I mean, based on his list, I can already see there's a lot of dead people on here. And because like honestly, to me, if All Might is supposed to be on his list of people giving him a quirk, he should be in the manifestation, but he's not. Like he's just not. And you can't like explain to me really well that that red guy is supposed to be him
Mm-hmm.
because of how far back there he is. He shouldn't be that far back if he is that red guy because he should be before sharing the front center camera with Nana, considering how close he was to her and also where he was in the line of getting the quirk. It doesn't make any sense for All Might. It doesn't make any sense for All Might to be back there when he should be in front with Nana, talking to Deku. And if anything, he should be the one talking to Deku too, in these manifestations. And also, All Might has also said that he's never interacted with any of them. Like anytime, like the first time he's ever heard about it was from his predecessor when she brought the messages to him. He only found out the story of the quirk from her. He never even talked to anybody. He didn't even know there was any people in the quirk,
Yeah.
which is also weird, by the way. And I understand you believe that he might be lying, but at the same time, it doesn't really add up. Like that completely distracts All Might's character altogether.
I don't think it's a lie. I think it's more like a Star Wars style, from a certain point of view kind of thing, where like at the time that he said that he didn't have a quirk, and then he realized that a quirk. He honestly didn't think he had a quirk at the time, and then he realized later that he did have a quirk or something like that. I
I'll
mean,
check this right now. Sorry.
the only other alternative is maybe he got a quirk later, like afterwards, like from One for All or something like that. All for One, I mean.
So I'm counting this list. There are 9 people. It makes sense to me, that All Might wouldn't be amongst this list. At least to me. Because you
Yeah.
don't count Toshinori amongst the list. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 users. And he says 7 in total. That 7 does not include Toshinori. And I get your argument that why like he shouldn't be getting anything else from this guy. There's also the argument that maybe he doesn't have the full control. He doesn't have the full ability. maybe for whatever reason that he isn't trusting Deku with the full capabilities of his quirk yet.
Yeah.
There's nothing stating that he couldn't do that. So far, this is the first time we've even had an interaction with anybody from the past to begin with. Because like there are 9 users in total. I don't count Bakugo because he didn't have it long enough. There's like 9 here. I know I'm hashing the number, but it's like I'm just trying to. They specifically state the guy in the quirk specifically states there's like 7 he has to manifest, and he's already manifested 1. He's got to manifest 6 more. And I don't know what kind of quirk All Might could have had if he didn't know he had one that would show up in the show up at when Deku needs it the most. It's really weird. Even though he didn't really need the Black Whip quirk that badly. He just thought he needed to capture him in the quirk itself gave it to him. This is another thing too. It's like maybe One for All. Maybe the One for All quirk is actually not omnipotent but like sentient, which is scary actually. By the way, based on what we're seeing here, he's going to be talking with each one as he manifests the quirk, which is going to be cool.
It's
Because
very cool.
He's got to manifest a quirk for Nana. He's got to manifest a quirk from the second user, the third user. That's weird that this wiki is only giving names for some of them. Where in the manga are they right now? This wiki might not be up to date actually. Long ago, all for one, a man with a quirk that allows him to steal other people's quirks and transfer them, force the quirk onto a seemingly quirkless brother. This quirk allowed him to stockpile power within his body. However, announced the other one, Yoshiru, and name to be revealed, with allowed him to stockpile power. Unbeknownst to him, already had a quirk with no other power than that it could be transferred to another person.
I've got you really going on this.
This doesn't make any sense. Like I'm not buying this makes sense story-wise because that's a rehashed story plot point. He hasn't rehashed a story plot point at all his entire story. There hasn't been one plot point he's rehashed. Everything has been a one-done thing. The only thing you can say is like, Deku inspiring other people, but that's not really a plot point. That's just more of a character trait.
Yeah.
He hasn't rehashed a story point, and I just don't think he rehashed that. And it doesn't make much sense for Alma as a character, considering he's supposed to die anyway, according to Night Eye. But that's still gonna have to come true at some point. It's like, I mean, either All Might doesn't know, or the quirk people are like still out of the loop. I don't know. Because they say he's got to manifest 6. And he's got to manifest 7. Maybe they don't know he's talked to number 1.
It's possible.
I would say maybe they don't know he's been using the quirk, but that's not true because he says that he's been using this quirk. Huh?
They seem pretty aware of each other, and they manifest in the same place a lot. It's hard to think that they don't have a general consciousness like that they're sharing of some sort.
I was gonna say maybe they don't know he's been using the quirk, but that's not possible because I mean this guy, whoever number he is, says that he can't be using the quirk without thinking now, and he needs to control his anger. But I guess another thing too is that now we're getting another part of Deku's character where he gets angry easily, which is actually interesting.
Mm-hmm. Deku seemed like he was in control of his emotions, given the circumstances. Like he had the presence of mind to tell someone to run. That he was having difficulty controlling the power. It seemed like his issue wasn't emotional; it was just with him being able to control the power.
No, I mean you can still be in control and still be angry.
Yeah, I don't know. He was. What was he angry about?
Momo insulted him. Actually, he insulted Bakugo. That's what set that entire thing off to begin with. Deku was doing pretty well up until that point.
Yeah. Okay, I could buy that.
You
It
can
was
see
weird
it.
to me. It seemed a little abrupt that he was that upset, but you're probably right.
It's not really abrupt. I mean, he's shown that he can go from 0 to 100 really easily. He and maybe it's not like anger from him. It's more just that he gets really upset when people that he knows that are his friend or he has respect for, somebody gets insulted. He's shown that when people insult people that he looks up to, he he um he gets a little bit brash and he gets a little bit like I am I am He-Man. Well, not I am He-Man, but you get what he'll jump in to try to defend them, even though it wasn't all that bad of an insult or whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
in this case, he was more upset that that he was mocking Kachan, and at this point, Deku and him are on better terms than they were in the past. They're not fixed 100%, but he's showing that is showing that he has respect for Deku.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things he's gotten their relationship's gotten better. So this insult is more of like you're insulting somebody who I'm actually becoming friends with. I'm not gonna let you get away with that. It's that type of situation. Like Deku, I think Deku, he's emotional, all right, and I think he's prone to anger. I think a lot easier nowadays than he probably was in the past. Because I will admit, beforehand, he wasn't. He was a meek kid. He was more scared of anything and anything else. I think if anything, this quirk just allowed Deku to act on a lot of, like I said before. Um, I think Deku, like, if it wasn't for the quirk given to him, he wouldn't have been able to act on a lot of the ambitions that he had. I uh, I think Deku is a lot braver and a lot more he's more willing to act on his instincts versus thinking it out a lot sometimes. I think he's just as able to think, but he's also just as able to act on his emotions and act on his instincts. Before it wasn't the case because he didn't have a quirk for that to manifest through. Now he's got one and is manifesting. He's able to jump in without thinking a lot at times nowadays. He still thinks, but there are times that he'll act on instinct, like he did when he went to go save Bakugo, when he didn't have a quirk to stop him from being um suffocated by that slime guy. The funnily, I've not seen since that episode because
Hmm.
he's in jail at some point. But still hung up on this all for one number. But I'm gonna leave it alone for right now. But as we talked about that enough, I mean, it's cool that he manifested a new quirk, so we now know he's gonna get 6 more powers. Uh, how they're
It's a
gonna
really
manifest?
cool quirk too. It gives him like a medium range thing, and it looks like he can kind of like walk on it because it like lifted him up in the air too. So he's got a ability to like suspend himself in the air, and he's got a grappling attack, and he's got um, a medium range weapon now because it's a whip. So I'm sure that it does some sort of attacking too. It's really really interesting, and it's a huge power apparently too because it like when it's full blown, like it was like kind of like being able to see it. It was able to be seen across the entire arena, and we haven't seen a lot of
Well, that's
people's
the only
quirks.
reason. The only reason the only reason that's even there is because it has the power of One for All coursing through it.
Yeah,
Which
but
actually
it's
this is the reason why I was disappointed with what happened with Bakugo's quirk. It didn't One for All didn't affect it at all, and I was disappointed. I expected there to be some change in Bakugo's quirk, but maybe because he didn't know how to use it because he just got it. Maybe that's why there wasn't a huge change in his quirk. So maybe I'll let that slide, but it still disappointed me because he said that this thing is more powerful when it was when I had it. Is what he specifically said. So he said you gotta watch it. And Deku couldn't control it. I mean, yeah, it definitely suspended him midair and did all kinds of things. So it definitely gave Deku more versatility. If anything, it can change how he gets around places now because he doesn't have to mimic Bakugo anymore. But we will
he
see what he does
can
with it.
he can if he wants to, but he doesn't have to now. I think it's a really nice complement to his current powers.
I guess speaking of other characters, I mean, Uraraka kind of came back to being important because she was able to help stop Deku. Because she was like, I didn't realize when I was first watching the episode, but I watched it the second time around. I actually didn't notice it, but apparently, the entire time while she was on him, she was floating him down. I wasn't aware of it until I started seeing it. I was like, oh, that's why she jumped on him. She's trying
Yeah,
to prevent him from
she wasn't.
crashing.
She wasn't just spontaneously horny or something.
That wasn't what I was thinking, but thank you, Jock.
It's interesting too because she's fighting a big force. You see that it blows her mask off, like whatever's emanating from him at that point.
Yeah, it's cool that they used her. I'm still not happy
Yeah,
because every time tried to use gunhead martial arts, she's only ever grabbed somebody by the arm and they get away really easily. This time she managed to flip him, but because he had more control over his equilibrium, he was able to get away. I mean,
yeah, but she's properly motivated right now too. You don't see her trying to use gunhead in a life and death situation, so you know that the good characters are always a little more powerful. Got proper motivation and their hearts really into it.
I guess, but I'm still afraid that she hasn't escaped um shonen heroine syndrome, where like
But
she hasn't
she
escaped it, and I really
got
want her to escape it.
think about the character breakthrough that she's made here. She's been avoiding Deku because she's been like, no, I'm going to get good on my own. I'm not just going to feed off your goodness. Now, for the first time, doesn't not only does she has she gotten over like feeling like she's not good enough, but she's focused on like he actually needs me. Like I'm here, like I save him, he saves the day kind of thing. Like I
But I
said
still
last
feel
time,
like that's being fed into this whole "I'm in love with him" thing. And I know they don't
it
say it
is.
here, but I still
But what
feel
I'm
like there's a
saying is
part of it.
like the thing is she's loved him the whole time. But now she feels relevant to him. Like before, she was like, "All right, well, I love him, but like, I'm not gonna ruin my life over the fact that I love him. I'm not gonna like limit myself and hang around him when he's like so far ahead of me. Like, I want to go out and I make myself, and I want to become relevant. But now, like, what's going on here is like, she's like, shit, he needs me. Like, yeah, I'm relevant. Like, he needs me, and I need to jump in and save him. So that's going to change the dynamic between the two of them. I think she's going to feel different about expressing or embracing the feelings she has for him because like she realizes that she could serve a role in his life and she's not just there to like feed off of him and follow his lead.
I hope you're right, but I've seen this happen so many dang times where they give you a little bit of they give you this little bit of hope, and then they remove the rug underneath you. I don't want to fall in that trap again where I have hope and then I get immediately brought back to reality. I just don't like it. And this is this type of situation where like I was hoping he wasn't gonna do this, where he wasn't gonna irrelevize a female character, because she's got a following, and it's just like, and I was just disappointed with the whole. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I hate the fact that she like loves Deku, but she's. I'm seeing this trend where usually a female character, after she gets a little bit more relevancy, what happens is that she ends up realizing that she has feelings for the main character, and that immediately derails them from any real meaningful one-on-one interaction with him or even with another character. And I will admit that I'm probably putting more of this on her when I should be putting this more on Ashido because Ashido keeps bringing it up. It's annoying sometimes.
Yeah,
She keeps teasing her about it. So yes, I mean, yeah, I'm being more harsh on Uraraka, even though I shouldn't be. I should probably be more harsh on Ashido because she's the problem. But at the same time, it's like, and I get it, teenage hormones, like stuff like that. But at the same time, just like, I hope you're right. I hope that this is the start to something different with her, and that she's gonna. Because I will admit, I did like the little background they did with her when she saw Deku needed help. When she just talking about, it gets down to the real reason of why she really wants to be a hero. It's actually kind of sweet that she saw her parents were like constantly miserable, But the one time that they saw that saw a hero do their job, she saw them genuinely smile for the first time with like lots of light, and she wanted to be that light to other people. But then she realized that like who's there for the heroes, and like she saw that yeah, she definitely Deku needed her help for the first time, and she was able to help him in some meaningful way. I'm not gonna like, I'm not gonna, um, I'm not gonna, what's the word I'm looking for here? Um, I'm not gonna like bring down the importance of this moment for her, but it's just like I'm more for me. I'm bracing myself for the inevitability that it's gonna go back to the status quo.
Mm. It's also cool to see that once again somebody's saving Deku's life. Like Deku never does it on his own. There's always somebody there like backing him up, saving his life one way or the other. Whether it's Bakugo like distracting the goons, or the Horn Girl like superpowering him by like giving him like instant like regeneration of all of his damage, or her holding on to him in this case. There's always like that one person there that gives him the assist that makes him shine. He never like is alone completely. Like, and if he was, I don't think he'd always make it. Like, sometimes he does something on his own, but it's much more common that he's important part of a team effort.
But I mean, it's cool that I kind of wish that Deku would like. He's only done one fight by himself without any assist. I just kind of wish that like he's supposed to be the number one hero, so I feel like he's
Even
gotta
when he
get into a
fought
one-on-one fight at some point.
even when he fought Muscular, he wouldn't have won it without that guy doing that one splash.
I know, but
He,
I really wish that I mean, hopefully with this new quirk manifestation part of his ability now in play, however it works, I don't even know how it works, how he manifests another quirk, because it seems like at least with the Black Whip, it only manifested when Deku thought about capturing Monomo and when he needed it, and it also activated when he got angry. So that's another thing too. So I'm actually kind of curious if like um Deku's emotional state's gonna be what's gonna cause the more quirks to show up. Which
hey,
you know,
I have a question for you. Does So the original person that had All for One, I mean One for All, he was given it. He was given One for All from All for One, right? Who gave him the quirk?
no, it wasn't one for all at the time. All for one did was give him the stalking power ability, or the stalking whatever he wanted to do ability, and him it met with the ability to transfer things through people, and it turned into all for one.
Okay, so it just sort of like both of them kind of mutated when they transferred
Yeah, it
over. Okay,
mutated. It became one. It wasn't one ability that was given to him.
okay, sorry. I was going to say, wouldn't it be amazing? Uh, One for All.
Sorry, you cut out there. What'd you say? It literally cut out as you were talking.
I mean, it would have been interesting if the last person he met to get a quirk from was All for One.
I mean,
If
he could still meet with him. I mean, it also looked when he first met him for the very first time when he had that dream in episode one. It looked like he wasn't done with him. He just said that unfortunately, I'm unable to talk with you for a long time right now. That's what it looked like. It looked like he was like waiting for him to come back whenever that was. I don't think he's done with him. I mean, regardless of what's gonna happen when he does meet him. Because like I mean, this time when he meets this other user, he has a free hand. He also mentions that you don't have a mouth either, which is kind of funny.
mm-hmm.
You don't have a mouth? All right, I'm just gonna like, well, that's a good thing because if Deku had a mouth, he'd be talking your ear off. But yeah, I guess with that, Mineta and us, I should have did a good job here defending them when they all came together in the middle of the terrain. Uh, But the other guys, well, we found out that that girl, I think her name was Reiko, the one with the poltergeist ability. That's kind of cool. Guess you can say that's kind of cool. But
That was so tacky. You listen to cackle at your own jokes too. I'm so funny.
I'm sorry, no, I'm more laughing. I actually pretend to laugh, but then when you say something, I actually start laughing. It's like it's more of a it's more of a domino effect.
Right.
But is her ability is kind of cool. She can touch things, but she can only manipulate things the max amount of weight of a human, and she can't use it on humans, which is also kind of lame. I feel like that's going to be something she'll work through to be able to allow her to manipulate a human. Because I feel like that would be a lot more useful for somebody who doesn't know who can't fly, and she can just toss them at somebody. But yeah, the other girl who's able to change the size of things, and I find it kind
And
of
then
funny that the way she
to
released.
they had to point out that change the size of things doesn't apply to living things.
Here's the thing: I don't know if that part of
It
the
was a
human body
crusher.
is considered living. Just gonna
It was a
point that
it
out.
was a crusher of dreams for me. I was just like, oh my god, this is oh,
But I don't think that part of the body is considered living. Does it have a brain?
it's part of a living thing.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a living thing though. I think there's some. I think there is. I mean, I'm not gonna move on. She's she's in school. She's a schoolgirl anyway. Dang it. But I like the point out that it looks like when she has to release this, I guess the compactness of the atom she's shrunk, she kind of does the same thing that Uraraka does, where she has to put her hands together. So I'm guessing that that hand sign is something that's common amongst their world in terms of like how to release an ability and whatnot. I thought that was kind of interesting. I guess in a really weird way, she could be compared to Uraraka. I'd probably say that the Poltergeist girl is probably more comparable to Uraraka, but whatever. Um, that dude with the twin. What was the name of this twin Inception? I forgot the name of the guy's quirk. The guy with the Saiyan Scouter. Twin Impact. I thought that was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool that he could essentially it looks like he can do it from anywhere. Where he could like I guess hit something with some force, and then he could immediately have it get hit a second time with multiplying the amount of force that was applied the first time.
yeah.
That looks like that could get really crazy really fast. Like
It does, but I did
imagine
not
that being a
fully
pinball.
understand.
Hmm?
I didn't fully understand how it worked because it seemed like he batted the floating items down or something after the fact, and I was like really having a tough time
Yeah,
wrapping my mind
he's
around.
basically if he's touched something and he's hit it already, he can apply an extra hit at any time he wants, at any point that he
Yeah,
wants. So he definitely hit it down.
yeah. It was weird. I was like, wow. So he just kind of like flew around hitting all those things just in case. It was like,
Yeah, his quirk's very interesting and it really has some interesting practicality to it. I can definitely see why these other quirks were all technical versus them being full front attacks.
yeah,
Because they all work. That team worked well together. I mean, they didn't even need Mono to be around for that too. And Mono he can just copy their quirks and use them how he wants for 5 minutes. Also, I guess they kind of did some little backstory on him too. Still hate him, but I mean, I can see where he's coming from. Uh, he compared himself to Shinzo, saying that as kids he said he can never be a hero. It's quirk, but he wants to prove everybody wrong. So in a really interesting way, he wants to better prove to the world that he can be an effective hero, even though his name is Phantom Thief.
mm-hmm.
He's got to change that name. But he I will give him some credit that he seems to be really smart. He knows he knew exactly the person he needed to deal with first, even though Deku knew exactly what was going to happen anyway. I mean, Deku knew they were going to be wary of him in the beginning with, but it seems kind of cool that he was trying to trick Deku, and Deku was constantly in his mind like he's trying to trick me. I can't act the way he wants me to act, even though he still kind of acted the way he wanted him to act anyway. It has had a accidental byproduct of unleashing the whip. I mean, this is I guess like in terms of story, regardless of any minor disagreements we have about the number of quirks that he's gonna have by the end of this, it's cool At least they're getting to this point now, because this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. And when I discovered this like last time we were reviewing this series, I was like, dang it, this is so cool. I want to talk about this so badly. I'm glad we got to the point now that this is out in the open. Now, as far as the extra quirks that he's gotten, I have no idea. I saw somewhere that apparently he's going to be training with somebody to help him. Uh, Again, I blame Google. So I can't go anywhere on Google News now, and they say, "Hey, look at this." No, why? Stop looking at my internet history. There's stuff in there you don't need to be looking at. But that isn't incriminating at all. But I don't know much more to say. The end of the episode is essentially them being prepared to go on an all-out brawl. Shinzo wants to be able to. I guess the other thing I talk about Shinzo. Right when Uraka told him to like brainwash Deku, you hear him have a little monologue in his brain saying that he really wanted to be able to fight Deku again to show him how he's changed, and he didn't know what to tell him to brainwash him to begin with. So that kind of shows some growth. And I guess also in the background we have like the teachers, especially Aizawa, at first ready to end the tournament, well, end the match, but after everything cools down, he pretty much just asked All Might, "Can we continue with the match?" It's like I feel like that right there was like a that was Aizawa kind of being selfish in his own right because he wants to see how Shinzo does.
Hmm.
That's gonna be pretty cool. Do you think Deku's gonna lose control over the Black Whip again in the next fight?
Um, I think he's got a lot of work to do on it. I think he's going to have a gradual improvement on it, like everybody seems to do with quirks.
But do you think he's actually gonna fire it off, trying to fire off a Delaware smash or whatever?
Um,
So he accidentally unleashed it here when he didn't even know he had it.
I mean, is this going to be a dangerous ability? I'm not convinced this is necessarily a dangerous ability. It seems to be emanating from him, and it's crazy right now because he's never used it. But it looks sort of like not unlike Dark Shadow in nature. You know, where Dark Shadow's not as a particularly dangerous ability; it's just very useful when you use it. It looks like the same similar energy to the Dark Shadow energy. It's just not sapien. It's just tentacles instead.
It's a whip like thing. I mean, it hurt Uraraka, so it has lethal potential. Well, I should say lethality to it, but I mean, it has the ability to hurt people, and that's what Deku was trying to prevent. He didn't want to be a burden to anybody. I mean, that was his entire monologue while he was trying to get control over it. And type of emanating from him, it emanated from his entire arm. I don't think that's what he wants to do. Even if he knew he had it from the very beginning, it looked like that guy who had the quirk originally, who originated from, it just came from the palm of his hand. It didn't do what it did to Deku, which is rip his entire costume off. Well, rip the arm off his costume.
Yeah.
I think it's dangerous. It could probably kill somebody. Who knows? I mean, he said that this quirk has been multiplied in power, so it definitely doesn't have the lethality it did when it was with him originally. So it probably
Yeah, that's
could
pretty
hurt
good.
somebody. It could probably really hurt somebody since it's gotten its power multiplied. So yeah, I think it can be dangerous. I mean, but like anything, he's got to learn how to control it. But I don't know really in combat. I feel like if anything, it'd be more useful in terms of capturing people versus it being useful in a real fight. So that's what it responded to. It didn't respond to anything else. It responded to Deku's desire to want to capture Monoma.
Hmm.
So I mean, I feel like maybe what's gonna. I mean, he might accidentally use it again here because he doesn't know what triggers it. So that's a dangerous unknown artifact there. So he doesn't know what triggers it. Like he had to learn how to trigger like one for all those entire body. Now he's got to learn how to like, not trigger this new ability. Not everybody's like seen that his quirk can do this, which I'm actually kind of curious what's that gonna do to the entire class. It's like Do you have other abilities we don't know about? I mean, I actually kind of glad that Bakugo knows about One for All because, um, based on Bakugo's personality, he would have solved this and flipped right the heck out. Like, what? You were holding back on me when you fought that one time, weren't you? You like that would have. I guess the long one, like him finding out, probably was all according to Keikaku. If anybody doesn't know what that is, that's Japanese word for plan. But that guy seemed kind of nice though, so I don't know what the other version, like the other people are like. We really don't know what type of woman Nana was. Actually, I don't even think Deku's even communicate with her yet. That's gonna be interesting. Actually, that's gonna be interesting to talk with her too. It's like, hey, so about your grandson, he's a villain now. Bye.
That's going to be really frustrating. I guess she could provide some sort of insights, maybe give him the opportunity. Since Deku's most heroic trait is, um, since Deku's most heroic trait seems to be bringing the best out in people, maybe there's some sort of way he could break the cycle by like
he he
turning
he,
that guy around a little bit
he
or
already
something.
kind of tried because Shigaraki kidnapped him in the mall.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying that it is impossible for maybe him to talk to him again and this time try to end the cycle. Um, but the problem is that like, how do you turn somebody around who's had a horrible life like he did? Deku had a loving family. He had a
I don't
home.
know,
Shigaraki didn't.
but I would think that Nana would be the one.
But but
Excuse
based
me.
on what I figured, I don't think he ever met him. I don't think he ever met her.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, there's a
There's
possibility,
not a
but
lot of people that are in a position to give him any. Deku would try to change somebody if he could, so and he is the other side of the counterpoint. So it'd be interesting to see what they do.
yeah, I feel like the point that you could have easily manipulated Shigaraki to turn good would have been earlier before a One for All got to him.
Yeah,
All for One, I mean. I think that would have probably been that point when he was kind of like a childish baby, grown man. But I don't know. Now that he's thinking, and now that he's got like, granted, I mean, he seems like he values family because he values everybody that he's got on his team. So like, maybe it's possible. But what would that do to League of Villains? I guess is like, I mean, I don't think anybody on that League of Villains team can be turned around. I mean, maybe you can make an argument for Himiko, but I still think she's kind of crazy. Like that'd be a weird one to see how she would react.
yeah.
I guess with that, that's like the end of the episode there. Not much more to say. I think we're getting close to the end of the tournament. Well, not tournament. I keep calling it tournament. The end of this like prohibition match. So I think the next episode is going to be the end of it. As for what happens at the end of it, I have no idea. I am just as much in the dark as everybody else who has not read the manga, and I'm still
I
really
think that,
tempted to go back and read the manga.
I think that's pretty fantastic though. That like finally like back to a place where it's suspense. Like I said, I thought the beginning. Excuse me. I thought the beginning of the this season was a little bit all over the place, but I feel like it's really pulled together now. And I'm really excited about the next episode again. I'm getting a lot of that. Like these last few episodes have gotten me back to that good feeling that I get um, when I'm looking forward to the next episode.
I mean, I didn't disagree. I thought like I don't think they're all over the place at the very beginning. I mean, yeah, they had to kind of bring us back into the fold, which is what every anime has to do if they're gone for like 6 months at a time. That's just be
Mm-hmm.
expected because they don't want you forgetting certain things as the series progresses. And it's like different for a manga, which is why I kind of enjoy the manga because I can read the next thing because like they're so much further ahead, and I don't even know how close to the end of the series that this person is to his own story. And I don't think he's gonna wrap everything up because that's kind of the point of like fan fiction, so that people can take characters they like and make their own stories around them. And I think a show like this in manga and idea and in general, like every character has their own, right to having their own story written about them. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like a lot of Froppy fanfic if you actually were to look.
Oh, oh gosh, I never thought to try that.
Don't know if that's sarcasm or not, but I'm gonna move on. But like fanfics, so I'm pretty sure there's like, I mean, everybody's got their own favorite character amongst like every character on this show. I think that's what really makes this show thrive. I know you don't enjoy it 100% necessarily because you feel like you get invested in a character and they drop them, but like there's only so much you can do, and this is really just mostly about Class 1A. Well, Class 1A, and more particularly more about Deku rising to the top. But I guess another thing too, like about when he lost control of his power, he was like he worked so hard to get to a point where he was comfortable with it, and now this happens. So that shows too that apparently it looks like anytime Deku gets comfortable with something, he might get another quirk introduced into the situation. But I'm actually kind of curious because like we have somebody else in the fold in his own age group that has two quirks. It's kind of interesting that's happening to him now, and I'm actually kind of curious what's going to happen when he starts manifesting newer abilities. And also, I feel like he's going to have to explain this to some people at some point too, that why he keep on developing new abilities that don't seem to fall in line with super strength.
He's gonna become a Nomu.
Wait, what?
He's gonna become a Nomu.
No, I don't think that's going to
The
happen.
Nomu have so many quirks that their brain just gets fried. He's gonna become a Nomu. That's how the series is gonna end. He's gonna be like in a straitjacket in a hospital somewhere, unable to concentrate anymore.
I know you're joking, but still, I don't think.
That's yeah.
No, that's not.
That's all for one's. That's all for one's plan. He's gonna turn him into a Nomu.
I guess speaking of All for One, I know you said you were kind of confused how you knew or whatever was going. I feel like he might be resonating with that quirk because he gave a part of it to his brother to begin with, and he also mentions that he hears his little brother's voice in the distance. Um, he also bring the fact that he knew who the new user was, which should have been impossible even with like the the even with the with the lackeys that he had along with Shigaraki. There's no way he could have pinpointed the next user, even if he is that smart. I don't think he has omnipresence. Like, I mean, he could. I have no idea, but it might be because he's linked to it. He could also explain why he never dies. He's one of those. Like, he's like linked to it. He's resonating with the quirk anytime it transfers bodies.
Yeah.
I thought about that earlier. I was like, huh, could he be resonating with the quirk? But why would he be resonating with the quirk? Did we ever see his real face? I know we saw he has white hair, but I don't think we've seen his eyes.
I don't know. Does he have any face left?
I mean, not now, but I'm talking about back before his face got obliterated
Oh, I'm
by All
sure he
Might.
did. I'm sure he did.
I'm pretty sure he had a face. I'm just like, I don't think we ever seen his eyes. I think what he's truly waiting for. I think Shigaraki, considering that Shigaraki hasn't been seen at all, and we know that he's grown patient. Um, and I think I already stated before, like Shigaraki, he was like he was dangerous before, but he was only dangerous in how erratic he would act. Now he's scary dangerous because now he's no longer going to act erratically. We see that he's now willing to wait a development in his character that wasn't that there before, and it only happens when All Might said it best when the disciple gets stripped of their teacher. Like he's pretty much doing the complete opposite of what All Might was doing with Deku. He
Hmm.
first leaves him to his own devices to see what happens, and apparently he has enough faith in that to the point where he's willing to let Shigaraki run the League of Villains. Granted, I mean that was supposed to be his thing anyway. I think All for One wasn't trying to have any part in that. I wonder like, what his ultimate plan is. Is he really trying to get rid of All for One, or is he trying to? Because he doesn't seem like he has any interest. Because he can take quirks, so it seems really weird that he hasn't just grabbed a user and took the quirk from them. Because you think you would be able to, but maybe the mutation made it impossible. Maybe that's where the whole you need to be willing to give the quirk away for it to leave you.
Wasn't the nature of One for All that it couldn't be taken any other way? It could only be willingly given away.
I mean, that's what All Might said to Midoriya. We're just like, why? Because Midoriya said he got worried when
I
Mononoke
mean,
copied it.
why would they know that unless it was he tried to take it away at some point and failed? Like, who else tried to take it away? You know what I mean?
Oh, you got a point.
I'd
But
be
it just seems
interested
kind
to
of
see what
weird
this
though
guy.
because he gave a quirk as a part of that quirk. So you think it was a part of him. Maybe he can't take a quirk back that he's already given.
Hmm.
Because I don't think he's ever shown himself taking a quirk back. We've only ever seen him give a quirk.
Yeah.
But no, that makes sense. Any sense because he had to take the quirk to give it. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot going on in that one nugget of information that I still need to decipher. Like there's too much going on with his quirk.
I wonder if this guy can copy Deku's quirk.
All for one?
No, the blonde guy from Class B.
I thought he tried and it came up as a blank because he mentions that last episode that it's possible that I try to copy it and it comes out as a blank. And he says that the blank just means that he can't copy it. It's a quirk that his quirk can't copy. And I thought he tried copying it and it didn't work.
Yeah, so it seems like the nature of the quirk at some point, it probably originally somehow like can't be taken. It can only be given.
And I guess that would make sense. I mean, the original guy, little brother's quirk was to pass things on, but his older brother could give and take. Yeah, there's like I guess there's still some mysteries that still need to be solved amongst the little brother and the older brother feud. Uh, that we'll probably will see because we're seeing everything happen in real time in an infinite void of time and space.
Right.
Deku's now Deku's got his arm now, so I mean, well, he's got his hand now, so I guess as he gets more control over the quirk, he'll manifest more abilities. I'm actually wondering what if there was any ability that you think Deku should manifest, what ability do you think he should manifest, and we'll end it off on that note.
An ability beyond the ones he's already had.
Yeah, if
Something that
there was a quirk, if there was an ability that you think you think he would find useful, what would he manifest, and which user do you think he would get it from?
I don't know which one he'd get it from, but something that would allow him.
So I didn't hear that. What?
Something that allowed him to heal the damage he's done to his body.
I mean, that'd be
Can you hear?
interesting, but yeah, I heard you. I heard that. I'd say I don't like.
I feel like that's a big limitation on him right now that his hands permanently don't work, but other parts of his arms and everything else are really, really damaged, and he's limiting himself to kicking because of it. And if he's going to be trying to
No,
use,
he's not.
if
No,
he's
he's.
going to be, if
Sorry.
he's going to be trying to use whips and all these other quirks, and have all this power coursing through him, it would be really nice if he was able to somehow either like get some sort of reinforcing thing on his hand. You know what I mean? Like some sort of magic one that made his hands actually durable, or if he was able to restore his hands, or just something that would like give him the ability to go all out with his arms and hands.
I mean, he hasn't lost the ability to use his hands. He's just not gonna use like the heavier hits. I think at the end of the day, I think the change to his feet is a lot better. Cause like,
Yeah,
I mean, they said
it's always best to have both, right?
wait, what?
It's always best to have both, and he's one major injury away from possibly losing the use of them entirely. So I would say that that would be the thing that I would get for him. And the next thing I'd get for him is like something that allowed him to communicate at long distance, or even like gating, like teleporting or communicating at long distance.
That would probably be Nana if it had to be anybody. Because
Maybe,
like
yeah.
when I think about her, and I don't know how useful of a hero she was. Nobody really brings her name up outside of Gran Torino and All Might.
Mhm.
We don't even know her hero name if she even had one. And judging from her relationship with Gran Torino, like I'm pretty sure those two are close away from being a couple. Probably, I have no idea. Granted, if that was the case, then they would have brought up that Gran Torino was the kid's father. But I don't think that's the case. I'm just kind of like I'm just kind of just being ridiculous now.
What ability would you give Deku?
Uh, I haven't really thought about it, but maybe just a smaller augment to speed because as fast as he is, um, I think, and I don't know 100% this is because we had never seen All Might in his prime, but I think All Might might still just be a tiny bit faster than he is.
Well, All Might has access to more of his powers, so he can launch himself faster.
That's true. But I mean, if imagine if like he had tapped into the to like to the to the nebula of power that was in that court to begin with. Like that'd be ridiculous. He didn't need it, but my goodness, it'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, maybe just a tiny bit more of an augment to his speed. Like if even if it was just for like a 5 minute charge or even like a 2 minute, like maybe make it like a lesser extent to Ida's. Like maybe make it 3 minutes that he would be able to turn this on and he couldn't turn it off. So essentially, it'd be on 100% of the time, but he would have full control over his movement. Because I mean, yeah, he's Deku's fast, but um, it'd probably help him if he needed to chase somebody down. Because he would never be able to meet Ida. He'd never be able to meet or match Ida's speed right now. And if the Ingenium line is to be true, he might be able to remove those pipes in his legs again and get faster. So it's only a matter of time where Ida does become the fastest man alive.
I don't know.
I
I
apologize to
think his
all
speed
Flash
is not
fans.
like a big. I don't think his speed is a big weakness.
I'm not saying it's a big weakness or just weakness in general. I think maybe just being a tiny bit faster because don't think he could eclipse Ida right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Bakugo may be a different story. You might be able to match Bakugo. Then again, Bakugo just like make him go faster just by exploding the rotation. So there's always that. But but yeah, I mean
Give
like
him
this.
the millions. Give him the millions ability just to like make him feel terrible about himself.
And with that, we're going to end the podcast there. We're gonna let all Lemillion fans get mad at Jock, and that's just where we're gonna end it. See you guys next week.
You were just
Bye.
waiting.
What?
You were just waiting for that, weren't you?
I was waiting for the way to end this thing, and you decided to leave Lemillion. I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave Lemillion hanging.